Hi everyone, Jeremy here, Modern Vitality. Once when I was a newish practitioner about a decade ago, I had a patient come in, a difficult patient, and I said to her, because their condition was so complex, right? So for those of you watching that have a complex chronic inflammatory condition, you can probably relate. But she'd been through the ringer, every kind of doctor, naturopath, functional medicine. Then she was here to see me, right? A clinical herbalist with Chinese medicine training. And I told her, I said, this is one of these peeling the onion type of conditions. You've got to look at the peeling the onion, going through the layers. And she said, I can't stand that expression. And she actually said, I hate that you said that to me, right? These are like strong words, right? I hate that you said that to me. Well, I learned a lot from this conversation. And in fact, I wish back then that I knew what I know now, because I'm sure I could have helped her in a much more comprehensive way. But that's the nature of things, right? We're always learning, we're always getting better. So in today's video, I'm going to share with you why peeling the onion is a myth for complex chronic inflammatory conditions. I'm going to tell you some of the things I learned, not only from working with that patient, but also as I come back now, as I evolve my mind and my thinking, I can now see that that metaphor is supremely limited. And I want to expand your thinking so that as you're working on your health and putting together the next piece of your puzzle and figuring out what you need to be doing to get your life back, that you're not stuck peeling an onion you don't need to peel. All right, let's get started. So peeling the onion, right? It's a very evocative metaphor. It's used everywhere. It's used in medicine. It's used in people talking about corporate policies. I mean, everybody can use this metaphor, this analogy of peeling the onion. And we know if you ever peeled an onion that you get layer, and it just seems endless. And actually, interestingly, the longer you do this, the longer you peel an onion, the more likely you are to cry, right? Now, of course, crying from an onion is a little bit different. It's not necessarily emotional and all that. But when you start looking at your health and you're trying to get your life back and you're just getting stymied and frustrated, and every time you think you solve something, you're taking one step forward and two steps back. Yeah, that gets to people, right? Real tears come with that. The morale gets low. The hope bank gets low, right? It's not good. So we don't want to be screwing around peeling an onion forever. That's not the name of the game. Most people just want to get their life back. They just want to get their health back. They want to be able to do things they used to love doing. They want to be able to say yes to life and be spontaneous and be able to go on trips and be there for their family and have hobbies, do projects, get creative again, right? They want to feel their sex drive come back, stronger relationships. Like, this is normal. This is what people actually want. What most people don't actually want is to try to maximize some micro variable in their life. For example, oh, I just need to get my C-reactive protein levels to come back to a normal threshold. Who talks like that, right? What happens is we go to see a specialist who's trained in reductionist thinking, who's learning to, we got to read the labs and isolate one variable. And then, this is the cause of all disease, right? And depending on who you talk to, there's all these, this is the root cause. This is the root cause. It's this one. It's this micronutrient we just discovered. No, it's this enzymatic process. There's so much minutia. You wind up peeling an onion. These practitioners are stuck peeling onions, right? And guess what? It never ends. Never ends, because the more science advances, which is great, right? But the more science advances, then the more minute things we discover. And then each one turns out is significant and important. And now we've got to focus on this reductionist little idea and that one. And then all of a sudden we're drowning in a sea of 10,000 onions to peel. So what I want to share with you, and I'm not immune to this. Okay. I should qualify this, because I also can get sucked down that rabbit hole of reductionist thinking. It's very tempting. It's very sexy, right? We think that there's confidence and certainty there. And if there was, then you wouldn't be watching my channel, right? Because the things you've done before with all the reductionist thinking has gotten you where you are, which maybe has helped, but not enough, right? Because there's more to it. So I train other health professionals on this. Now I'm mentoring my colleagues and showing them how to get away from some of the reductionist thinking. It's working great. Like, a lot of people are really expanding their clinical practice, and this kind of thinking needs to get out there. So I'm talking to people who are suffering too, right? Whether it's like Lyme disease, fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue syndrome, adrenal fatigue, mold exposure, candida, long haulers. I mean, there's so many of these, EMF sensitivity. Like, everybody's getting these types of complex knotty conditions, anything autoimmune, right? And by knotty, I don't mean naughty like bad. I mean knotty like string tied in knots, right? There's another analogy. Maybe we'll do that in a different video, right? With the peeling of the onion, you've got to understand it's a artifact of reductionist thinking. As a patient, you pick this up subconsciously from the practitioners you're seeing. They have a frame around these kinds of problems and how to solve them. And the frame is to dial in, peel the onion until we get to the very bottom of the thing, right? And then as a patient who just wants their life back, you go to see a professional, an expert who says, well, we need to get to the very bottom of the thing. And then you think, well, I've got to get to the very bottom of the thing, right? And now we're passing around this idea of peeling the onion, passing it around. And I'm going to expand on this, okay? So we have to peel the onion. Sure, let's see what's inside of it. However, what if we unpack this onion? What if we zoom out from this onion? In my mind, my position, my bias is that we don't understand what's going on until we get away from this onion and we see not only the onion and not only the layers, right? But we also look at what kind of soil it's growing in. How has the rainfall been this year? What kind of climate are we in? What time of year is it? Where are the winds coming from? What's on the wind? Are there bugs? Are there little pests in the garden, right? Is there a gopher that's going to be digging things? We need to look at all this stuff. Soil conditions, temperature, humidity, ocean currents, right? You start looking at all this. And now there are things you can't see like EMFs. Maybe we're peeling an onion that's right underneath a 5G tower. Okay, let's look at that. Look at the bigger things. We have to zoom out. And it's not one or the other. It's only that we've overemphasized zooming in so much within our culture, which isn't our fault. It's just how we I get it. It's tempting to think there's certainty there. If I just finally dial in and peel this onion down to the very granular essence, then I'll have my answer, my certainty, and then I can get my health back. Okay, that's an infinite game. It's not an infinite game in the good way, right? It's an infinite chase that's you're just following forever. There is no center of the onion. I know this can be discouraging. So I'm offering hope, right? Because when we can zoom out, we can start to see the whole systems around this onion that gives the onion the quality and the nature that it has. We maybe don't even need to peel it at all. Maybe it's a problem with the onion. Oh, we need to peel the onion. No, it needs water. It hasn't rained in 3 weeks. Give it water, right? Or turn the 5G off or whatever. You know, plants don't grow if they got the Wi-Fi router right next to a bunch of seeds. Maybe you've seen these experiments and the seeds just, they don't grow. It just shuts it down, right? Messes with life. Maybe there are things in our environment that are messing with life. Maybe we can zoom out from your specific health condition and start going gradually bigger and bigger and bigger and start looking at, okay, what am I doing in my life? Am I doing things that are adding to this problem, or am I doing things that are taking away from this problem? What kinds of foods am I eating? What kinds of conversations am I having? What kinds of relationships do I have? What kind of environment am I in? Am I in a house with mold in it? Am I in an environment where I can hear a lot of sirens and noise and stressors and barking dogs all the time? Am I in an environment where there's a lot of EMF radiation coming through? And we start looking at some of these things where people get scared of this because they feel like they don't have any control over it. The more we zoom out, the more we see things that we feel like we have no power over, right? But you still got to look. If you don't want to be peeling the onion, right, and just dinging around with that forever, which I don't blame that patient I had back in the old days, right, before I understood all the whole systems thinking and how to manage triggers and inputs, passive inputs, active inputs, how to do all these things where we can curate the environment to get a different onion, right? And she didn't know what she was asking for. She was just burned out, right? It's not like she had all the answers and she taught me all this stuff. I've had to learn this stuff through trial and error and good teachers and bad teachers and the hard way. But I've developed an understanding now that as we transfer that, it serves people very, very well. And I do my best to make these things simple so that everybody can understand, because you shouldn't have to be a master's level or a doctor level or a PhD to start to understand some common sense things about whole systems. I can teach my kids. My 5-year-old understands, right? So we can get it to a way where everybody can start to see some of these things that are happening and how they interact. We need to have a common sense understanding, a way to start to get our hands on our health without having to rely on reductionism all the time, without having to peel the onion of forever. If you're struggling with a complex chronic health condition, you don't have to do it alone. We've got a group, and we're having these kinds of conversations every single day. It's a free group to join. We're off big tech. We've got our own private platform where you can ask me anything. You can watch me go through clients I'm working with from all over the world. We're international. You can watch everybody going through their healing journey. They're very positive. It's a lovely place to be. And even on the bad days when people have a backslide or a trigger or whatever, it just hits the fan, you can watch over my shoulder as we troubleshoot that and take people through 4 stages, right? Immune, digestive, neuroadrenal, blood circulation in order. We go through this healing process. And you can watch, you can learn, you can listen, you can ask me anything We've got a vault full of personalized videos you can go through that are interactive for you, so you can figure out what's going on with you specifically, what's your situation, what should your next steps be. It's all there for you. The application link is in the description of this video. I'd encourage you to join, right? Even if you're introverted or shy, you're in good company. There's tons of people that are more like empaths, introverts, more shy folks in the group, right? But when you get around people that understand, all of a sudden you may notice some of your personality starts to come up, and you want to talk and connect, which is great. So there's an application there. We do fill up. I keep the group relatively small, like 1 to 200 people is where we cap it, so that I can know who's in there. And when I answer your questions, they're very specific and for you. So just know that there can be a wait because we do fill up. I will try my best. If I see your application and you look like a good fit, I'll try my best to get you in within the next monthly cohort cycle. So hopefully it won't be too long of a wait. In the meantime, you might consider subscribing to this channel so that you can get more helpful health information like this video, instead of just being shown whatever the algorithm is feeding you, right? Instead of being a passive consumer of things on the scroll, which I know we all fall into, right? But instead of that, you can train this thing to show you information that's going to help you get your life back, because that's probably the most important thing going on right now for you. All right, I hope this helps. Peeling the onion, right? Zoom out. You might not even have to peel the thing in the first place, and then you don't cry, right? It's a good deal. All right, let's get you feeling better. Cheers.